In the Deep South, where justice can be as quiet as a whisper or as loud as a lie, one woman's silence spoke louder than anything they expected. This is not just a story about corruption or power. It's about what happens when the system tries to break the wrong person. A routine traffic stop was supposed to end her mission. Instead, it lit a fire that exposed everything. This is the story of Danika Miles. Just outside the sleepy town of Pine Ridge, Georgia, the morning sun beat down on a stretch of empty highway. Danika Miles adjusted the rearview mirror of her rental car, eyes sharp behind a layer of calm. To the world, she was a 38-year-old pharmaceutical consultant, private, quiet, maybe a little too polished. To those who knew better, she was something else entirely, a deep-cover DEA agent on month 11 of an operation that had taken more than her name. When the flashing lights appeared in her rear view, she didn't flinch. She pulled over slowly, shifted the car into park, and waited. Two white deputies stepped out. One tall and wiry Deputy Ray Callan, and the other broader. With a heavy stare, Deputy Matt Sharp. Her instincts flared the second they approached, their eyes already calculating. This wasn't a routine stop. They were fishing. She kept her voice measured and respectful. License, registration, calm compliance. But then came the request to pop the trunk. And then came the cocaine. Neatly packed, tightly sealed, and not hers. She didn't scream. She didn't resist. That would have been out of character anyway. And she was still playing a role. But inside, her mind ignited. Callan's smirk told her everything. Sharp's silence confirmed it. They were dirty. And worse, they thought she was just another woman they could silence. They found a second phone in her glove box too. A burner, new and unused. Another plant. She said nothing as they cuffed her, her badge, credentials, and clearance all missing by the time she arrived at the holding cell. Danika sat on the bench in that cold, concrete room, hands resting on her knees, heartbeat steady. She mentally cataloged everything: Sharp's nervous twitch, Callan's overconfidence, the missing body cams, the timing. She knew the risk going in. She also knew the rules of the game. And most of all, she knew the one man who would come looking. Roy Talbert had trained her, a retired field agent turned handler. He was a man of few words and zero tolerance for failure. When Danika missed her scheduled check-in, Roy didn't hesitate. He didn't call local law enforcement. He didn't ask questions. He pulled files, traced the GPS fail-safes embedded in the burner phone only she and the agency knew existed, and started driving. Meanwhile, Danika was assigned a court-appointed lawyer. Ben Ridley, a kind man with tired eyes, and the kind of cautious demeanor that screamed he'd lost too many times to believe in wins anymore. During the arraignment, the courtroom buzzed with bored onlookers, local press, and smug glances from Callan and Sharp. They thought they'd buried her. Then Roy Talbert walked in. He wore a brown leather jacket, carried a sealed federal case file, and walked past the bailiff like he owned the building. He handed the judge a thick envelope and uttered one sentence that shifted the entire room. "Your Honor, you're holding a federal agent." The room fell silent. What followed wasn't cinematic. It wasn't loud, but it was devastating. Clearance levels, internal surveillance, body cam overrides, internal affairs memos. Video footage showed Callan disabling his camera. A log confirmed Sharp accessed the evidence room alone, 2 hours before Danika's arrest. They'd been building their own side hustle for months, seizing drugs, flipping them through traffickers, and covering it all under routine stops. The judge ordered a recess. Behind closed doors, legal gears ground into motion. Charges were dropped. Danika walked out, but she didn't walk away. At the DEA field office in Augusta, she laid the burner phone on a table. Inside was a contact string that linked to Elijah Ghost Burks, a trafficker they had been chasing for years. It tied Callan directly to an operation running up I-85. It was the piece they never had. Then came the testimonies. A 22-year-old woman, still in jail for a possession case nearly identical to Danika's. A mother of two who swore she was clean. But no one listened. 3 cases, all women, all planted, all within 60 miles of Pine Ridge. Danika didn't cry. She didn't rage. She got to work. Weeks later, she returned to the same courthouse, not in cuffs, but in a navy blue suit that matched her quiet authority. This time, she wasn't defending herself. She was testifying for the ones they'd tried to erase. Callan and Sharp were suspended. An internal investigation followed. The mayor issued a statement. The sheriff denied knowledge. But Pine Ridge knew. Everyone did. And when Danika stepped out of that courtroom, the change in the air was real. Across the street, a group of high school students watched. One black girl whispered to her friend, pointing at Danika with a kind of awe that doesn't need words. Danika caught her eye and nodded. A silent message. They tried to bury me. Instead, I bloomed. That night, Danika sat on her porch with a mug of tea, the cicadas humming low. She replayed her father's words in her mind, words that had carried her through every locked door and shadowed hallway. They'll judge you before they know you. Make sure when they do know you, it humbles them. She wasn't after revenge. That was too small for what had happened. What she wanted, what she lived for, was something far more powerful. She wanted them to remember her, and now they would.